up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching the Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series where we're talking about all things matter to me in the world of Marvel films. This is episode number 81, and to start off this episode, we're going to talk about the filming schedule for Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 3. In a recent interview, Kevin Feige actually spilled some details about the production of some upcoming films, and of course, what we got filming right now in Atlanta is Captain America Civil War, the third installment in the Captain America franchise, and they are more than halfway done. They have 80 days of filming, and they are at day 43 before they get into post-production. So 37 days left, and it's going along pretty smoothly. I'm really excited about Captain America Civil War. They're calling it Avengers 2.5 because the huge amount of returning characters from the Avengers Age of Ultron is going to be making their way to Civil War. So very, very exciting. Moving on, of course, there's Doctor Strange, which will be filming in London in November of this year. And then after that, we have Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which will be filming in February of 2016 at Pinewood Studios in Atlanta. And then after that, we have Thor Ragnarok and SpiderMan, the New Avenger, which will be filming in June of 2016. There's no word on where they're going to be filming, but at least we know they will be filming next year in the summer. Okay? Speaking of Thor Ragnarok, it turns out that Kenneth Branagh will not be directing Thor Ragnarok. Kenneth Branagh is the director of the first Thor film, and in a previous video I mentioned that there is a rumor going around stating that Kenneth Branagh may be back to direct Thor Ragnarok. Apparently that is not true. It is just a rumor. Kevin Feige in the same interview clarified on that, and he said that Kenneth Branagh will not be coming back. That's just a rumor. And what's going on right now is actually they're talking to directors and they're making their short list for the list of directors who will be directing Thor Ragnarok. So that is what's going on. I'm sure we will get this announcement pretty soon. Now, let's talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the New Avenger, which will be coming out in 2017. Well, Kevin Feige actually also spilled some more details about Spider-Man, the New Avenger. And what he mentioned is about the tone of the film. How is it going to be different from the previous iterations of the same character? Well, first of all, it's not going to be an origin story. He told us that much. He's going to already be Spider-Man. And he's going to be completely aware of who he is. And he's just going to be dealing with the obstacles of who he is as this superhero, as well as his high school drama. That is the key word here, high school drama. Because what he said is that Spider-Man, the New Avenger, will actually have a very high school type of tone to him. A very John Hughes type of atmosphere and tone. It's going to have a John Hughes vibe. Those are his exact words. So we're going to have a lot of emphasis on high school life, high school drama, high school comedy. That's what we're going to get. Lots of comedy, as a matter of fact. He wants to keep the tone very fun and funny, just like a John Hughes film. So that's what we're going to get. And I'm actually pretty excited about that because we're not getting an origin story. We don't have to see the same story told over and over again that we got from the Tobey Maguire version and the Andrew Garfield version. We don't need to see that anymore. He will already be who he's supposed to be by the time we get to 2017, which is great because I want to see him in dealing with his issues. Alright? Spider-Man is a character, or rather Peter Parker is a character who has a lot of issues. He's dealing with a very emotionally conflicted issues because he maybe has to deal with two different love interests, or perhaps he wants to protect the people he loves, things like that. So there's a lot of emotion involved, and it's a very complex character, and I'm sure that when they bring him to life on the big screen, we're going to see a lot of that. Okay? Now, one of the new things that we're going to see in Spider-Man the New Avenger is, of course, new characters, namely new villains, because we've seen a lot of the classic villains in the previous films. Well, they want to bring in someone new. Now, they didn't say who they're going to bring in, but we are going to see a new villain, and it's possible we might see a different version of the previous villains, because Green Goblin is a very iconic villain in the Spider-Man universe. And if they decide to bring him in, then so be it, but he's probably not going to play that big of a part. Or at least they'll make him very, very different. But the number one thing is knowing that they're going to bring in an all-new villain that from the SpiderMan comics that we've never seen on the big screen yet. So very, very exciting stuff. Now, speaking of which, we got to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And it has been recently revealed from Kevin Feige that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 now has an official title, and that would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Volume 2 is the subtitle for Guardians of the Galaxy, and of course, Volume 2 refers to the mixtape. Mixtape Volume 1, and then Mixtape Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is the official title, and what we're going to be getting from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or rather what we can expect from Volume 2, is something that James Gunn actually elaborated on, and that is it's going to be a more emotional and personal story. So emotional that it made Chris Pratt cry when he read the script. So it's going to be a very emotional story. It's going to be dealing with fathers, okay? Because, you know, Chris Pratt, he still doesn't know who his father is. Or rather, not Chris Pratt, but Star-Lord. Star-Lord doesn't know who his father is. And everyone will be back, of course, the main cast of the Guardians of the Galaxy, along with a couple of new members to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe just one new member. Maybe not a bunch, but maybe just one. We don't know who that's going to be, but we'll find out soon. Now, some returning characters that are going to be coming back to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 would be Yondu, played by Michael Rooker, and also Nebula, played by Karen Gillan. That is great. I'm very happy to see them back because I like their characters, especially the Yondu character. I didn't like him at first, and then later on he started being very, very cool. So I'm glad to see them back. Now, the big question is who's going to be joining the Guardians of the Galaxy team, because if you don't already know, the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics wasn't just limited to the 5 characters that we saw on the screen. There are other characters, and one of them is actually Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and if they're bringing in Adam Warlock, they must bring in a new villain, possibly Magus. I'm just throwing it out there. The reason why I'm suggesting this is mainly because they said that in Avengers Infinity War, it's going to be more than one villain. It's going to be not just Thanos, and I'm just thinking maybe they're making the transition to Infinity War by bringing in the Adam Warlock character. We're gonna have to deal with Magus now, and then perhaps Magus will be transferred over to deal with in Avengers Infinity War, where we're gonna see the Avengers team up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So who knows? Just throwing that out there. Anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is AntMan. AntMan made their red carpet premiere yesterday. And some people have seen it. Actually, a lot of people saw it. A lot of fans saw it. And the reviews will not be in until much later on. So, that's something I'm, of course, very, very extremely looking forward to. And what is very, very curious to me is that I wonder if Wasp is actually in the film. That is something I'm very, very curious about. Because they don't show any of that in the trailers. Of course, they wouldn't reveal that. But Hope Van Dyne, played by Evangeline Lilly, she's in this movie. So I'm thinking, are we gonna see Wasp in this movie? We don't know. But something else Kevin Feige revealed in that same interview is that they're really considering putting Wasp in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I don't know if we're gonna see Wasp in Ant-Man. We will find out very, very soon. At least just 2 weeks from now, we will know for sure. But Wasp is a very important character in the Ant-Man mythos, and to bring her into the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be doing the Ant-Man story justice. And they're really, really playing with the idea of how Wasp can be a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and not just Ant-Man. And her story expands outside of the Ant-Man universe. I mean, she does is a character that it just expands outside of the realm of Ant-Man. Okay, so there is a lot going on. Should they decide to do that, and it really will open up a lot of options for them. So I hope that happens, and I hope to see her character as Wasp in Ant-Man. So there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video, and hopefully, of course, there's going to be a positive response for Ant-Man, both at the box office as well as from the critics. That way, Marvel can see that this is a hit. We're going to see a sequel. We got to bring in more characters. Alright, so there you have it. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this video. What do you guys think about anything that I've talked about? Let me know in the comment section below how you feel. As always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. That we might be seeing all three of them in the same film. Alright? And that's just a rumor from Latino Review. Latino Review is a very